Hello, ladies. I am here today with a special guest to share some tips with you around how to simplify as a mom. Today, I have Erika Stroh with us, and she is a parent coach, educational consultant, speaker, relationship counselor, and the CEO and founder of Parent from the Heart Incorporated. That is her coaching business. And Erika's role as a parent coach, and again, she's available for private coaching sessions for moms, dads, couples, and families. And she offers support, strategies, and solutions to guide expecting, new, and seasoned parents as they are navigating their way through parenthood, at all ages and stages. Erika shares her expertise with clients using a gentle and holistic approach that incorporates basic principles and practices in mindful parenting. She customizes and designs sessions for each client to their specific needs and challenges. And I'm really excited to have Erika here because she and I, hi Erika, by the way, we had some challenges getting together to actually do this interview. Mommy challenges, technical challenges. But in that time, I got a chance to get to know Erika even better. So I actually am grateful for those challenges so that we had a little extra time together. And I really love what Erika does. She's so committed to, giving people, parents information. You said something, Erika, like, if we know better, we can do better. And providing parents with information so that they have something that they can work from, really educating them. And I really appreciated that, especially from my own experiences growing up and always having desired, or wishing that my parents had known a little bit more. I grew up in a divorced family, and I kind of wish that they were educated around how to handle going through a divorce together. So I always also believed in, if we know more, we can do better too. And I've always, sought out education for myself as a parent. And so I know that you're really committed to this work and have so much to share with these women. But today I wanted to just invite you here and, maybe share a simple tip or a strategy, something to help the moms to create more simplicity and ease in their lives, because parenting there's so many challenges that come up around parenting, and we all know, it can be, difficult at times, very rewarding at times as well, but it can definitely be difficult. And we need, I feel like, the information, we need the support, we need the tools to help, us be the best parent that we can be, right? And to guide our kids in the best way. So I wanted to ask you, as a parenting coach, what could be something that would be really useful for moms today that you could share with them?
Well, thank you for all of that. I appreciate hearing you introduce me, and I'm also a product of divorce. And so there are plenty of people I've worked with along the way that actually have those challenges, just like those of us that live under the same roof with our partner. And I think one of the very first things that I always try to offer people that I learned early on was just to kind of normalize the fact that this is real. These challenges are real, and we're generally under-equipped, to kind of handle a lot of what's thrown at us as we become parents, and as our relationship with our marriage and partner changes and evolves with the transition to parenthood. So it's always fascinated me. I've lived through it. My kids are teenagers now, and the work is never over. But I also feel like what you said was important just to touch upon, which is the idea that we're not here to be perfect parents. And for me, mindful parenting is also about becoming more aware of ourselves and in the role of parent with our kids, so that practice in itself, it helps us to grow and learn and observe our kids in ways where we understand their needs and what they need from us, and there's kind of a mutual, respect and dialogue, and that in essence is developing a really healthy relationship. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, one of the first things is to really just step back and be easy with ourselves, and to have a little bit more compassion for ourselves the way we do for, our kids, and really recognize that our own self-care, obviously, and I know that word is sort of overused and it sounds so cliche, but let me say that part of the work.
I still love it.
And it is essential anyway, and I do love it as well. I guess to clarify, though, one of the things I'm sharing here is that self-care also means, like you said, it's learning and growing. So it's not just the massages and the manicures, which I always say to people, I love those too, and do both. It's not that you should pick one or the other. Make time for those things, for those simple pleasures, for the things that really just make you feel beautiful, and that you're caring about yourself. But then there's also the piece of learning and growing and asking for help. And I think that's a big tip that I'd love to share, because it's not for a long time. I've learned a lot over the years, and particularly when my kids were little, letting go and allowing people to care for your children without the guilt and without the feeling like we need to control, or because we can't. I mean, we really need to accept that we can't control the outcome, mm-hmm. and that our kids are going to benefit actually from everything and anything that happens when we're not there, whether it's our spouse or grandparents or whomever. So that's a whole nother, parenting conversation. But there's a lot of mutual rewards that come with the self-care that our kids actually benefit. We're modeling for them that we're taking time away even from them, which I know is delicate, but to do it in a loving and a caring way that shows our kids that we're making ourselves a priority. And so we're teaching them to do the same. And that's a powerful message, particularly for women, I would say, because that's a conditioned thought process that we've been, I think battling for generations. And I love more and more, I see blogs and I see people writing about the topic of, did you grow up with a mom who showed you that side of being a woman and self-care and doing for herself and finding adventures and careers and joys outside of motherhood, or not? And so it might be a little bit easier for those that had that example. And to be that example means we can change the future, and we can really, kind of break that cycle a bit for the next generation. So that's hugely important, I think, and it's a big one to kind of digest.
I'm glad you brought that up, Erika, because I see that in some of the feedback from the moms that I'm connected with, that guilt around taking that time for themselves and away from their children, especially if they work full time, that they're not with their children all day and they feel like they need to be there when they're not working, and don't feel like they have that right or have guilt around taking that time for themselves.
Right. Well, so I would say, alongside that topic is what I've discovered a lot of women that I work with find challenging is when they really have to stop and think about, what needs do I have? When it comes to self-care, it's, again, not just the pampering and the time away, but when we even spend time away. I've had clients say to me things like, it sounds great to be on my own without my kids, but actually I don't know what to do with that time. I find myself running errands, and yes, going to CVS by yourself after you have a baby is a great, great thing. And I don't think I'll ever forget that feeling. It was wonderful. Right. But moving past that, is what is it that you need that during these precious 10 minutes a day, an hour a day, however much time you can give yourself, whether your kids are still home with you or not, what is it that you need to be doing to fill a need of your own, to feel satisfied and to feel whole, and again, bonus, to be the best parent you can be. Mm-hmm. And I think that's come to my attention more and more over the years, that if we don't really identify what kind of needs we really even have, and of course beyond, we're humans, and so we all share commonality, but we also have unique and specific things that really bring us joy and fill us up. And I think that's really worth exploring for people, just tapping into some of the things that really feel like, at the end of the day, I'm satisfied when I've done this, or, sometimes it could be adult not supervision, adult companionship, connecting with another person, which of course is why social media is so popular. And I get it. And it is nice for those that can't get out of the house as often. We have to be careful with that, of course. But that's another topic. So yeah, figuring out, I think, and really, and I actually have a couple of worksheets that I usually offer people to kind of tap into, what needs they have, and that somehow or another, parenthood helped us to kind of lose, some focus around our needs, because the kids' needs come first oftentimes, and balancing the needs within a family is one of the biggest challenges and can cause a lot of stress, but it's absolutely possible. And we can do it. And I have found ways to do it, and my clients have found ways. And it's just a moment to moment, day by day process. But I'd say that's a great starting place, just to kind of really tap into your own needs and what really, what fills you up. But, for the women that are out working out of the house, we have to learn to let go of that guilt. Absolutely. And if it's an everyday affirmation some women enjoy, a mantra, something that they write and they hang in their office space, or it's in their phone. But daily reminders and those kind of practices for us, for our well-being, are so, so important.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Yeah. I agree. I think that, we need to take that time for ourselves, and it's so important to find a way to, to work through that guilt and recognize that we have that right to take care of ourselves too. We need to be in a good place in order to be in our best self, to take care of our, our children in the best way. Right.
Absolutely. And look, for me, again, mindful parenting speaks to being in a place where we're present enough and we're aware enough that we realize our needs aren't getting met. Most people who are maybe listening to this thinking, I've never really stopped to think about it. And so just that practice alone of going through your day a little bit differently and a little bit slower and a little bit more aware. Because it's easy if we look at our kids and tap into, I think the best version of ourselves as moms is wanting to know what our kids need from us. And that's beyond, of course, the basic needs, but, the specific and unique needs of each of our children, which is a whole another conversation. And yet it's similar to the fact that if we don't know what we need on a daily basis, I find mothers are often, those are the mothers that are struggling to really meet the needs of their kids in a way where they, avoid power struggles and avoid meltdowns and a lot of that. So it's actually kind of simultaneous work. It's kind of neat the way that works. So it's personal growth for yourself, but we're also, we're able to tap into our kids better. And that's the whole mindful piece, which is more holistic, if you will, and in seeing it as a whole family kind of project, that if we all tap into what our need, and then the beauty is we give our kids these tools. We pass these tools along to our kids. So, they're not completely dependent on us, and we can meet our needs a little bit better because we have more space and more time, and we've created that for them as well. So it's such a win, scenario.
Right.
But I just wanted to quickly say, it's always nice to say work through the guilt, let go of the guilt. And it sounds, of course, a lot easier than it actually is. And the only little tip I would say there for those of you that are listening and you are willing to dive a little bit deeper, to just kind of, think about where that guilt is even coming from. It's, I think, worth your time not to just use the word guilt and to pretend like we can brush it off or bury it. But I think if we understand it a little bit more and help ourselves to understand how to overcome it and be able to let go of it for real, really authentically let go of it. I think that's a pretty empowering situation that I've seen a lot of clients go through. That's it you release it once and for all, and then it doesn't weigh you down. And you don't even really use that word, you'll find, very often, if at all. So it's kind of, it's a little bit deeper for those of you that are willing or interested, but to me, it's worthwhile because it's, it certainly always fills me up to learn and to grow. And through that process, there might be a little bit of pain, a little bit of conflict, and we find our voice and we find a space for ourselves that we're, again, modeling for our kids, but we're we're deserving of, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and
Absolutely.
that piece is really, really powerful. Really, you know, I think women are going through an interesting time right now. So for boys and girls that we're raising, I think that message is an important one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think when you look at that guilt and you start to see the layers of it, like the the limiting beliefs behind that, all the
Mm-hmm.
things that you say to yourself and have come to, believe about that. When you start to look at it and break it down, they start to melt away, and you
Yeah,
can, and you get closer to what's really at the core of who you are.
right.
What do you really desire? I
Yeah,
like,
because look, I'm not accusing anyone, but certainly I've been in this field long enough, and I myself am a mom. We can also bury ourselves under guilt. You know, I think we can also use it as an excuse or a justification for not moving forward and not doing right by ourselves. And so I think that's important to recognize that sometimes that's happening. And like you said, we need to be a little bit more aware of the reasons, behind that, and to figure that out a little bit. It's worth doing. So we're worth it, and it's important again for us to model that for our kids, but for us to be the best version of ourselves, just to be whole, just to be complete. Just motherhood is huge. It's just huge. It changed my entire world. I'll never be the same. I'm not the same, and I'm happy for that reason that I'm not
right.
the same. But I think also there's that acceptance piece that we're different now. We're meant to evolve. We're meant to grow. And our children are one of the best, gifts for us to remind us that some of the challenges we have in parenting, for example, are I think, linked to the fact that we're not in that moment open to growing. And so this is all encompassing, really. And so the benefits are just for everybody involved, I think.
I love it. Erika, you're doing amazing work, and it's so needed. It can be really challenging sometimes to be, and in that situation where you feel like you just can't get it together, and knowing that there's support and there's options for dealing with this is, I think, so important for moms to know and to recognize.
I agree. I myself, just for the record, I have a support system. I always have. And when I don't tap into it, when I think that I've got it all because I've got the tools, I teach this, I come to every session with any client, those who know me for a long time and those that are new, very humbly. And I'm always learning and growing. And, I think that's a really important piece for us all to, I don't know that we come into parenting thinking that. I had one client say to me, I thought my job was to just impart my wisdom and to teach my son. And who knew that this was going to be my own personal growth journey? And she's one of my, I'll never forget that line. This goes back many years. And it was a breakthrough moment. It was like, yeah, that's exactly what this is. But either we fight it or we're still just denying that that's the case. But there's a shift that's definitely going on. It's way bigger than even this conversation, but it's going on. I feel it.
Yeah.
I love that I'm part of it and contributing in a positive way, as I know you are. And women don't have to do this on their own. We can do this collectively, and we can be there to help and support. And my business is inspired through motherhood. It's so I didn't go back to teaching so that I could be home with my kids and be the mom I wanted to be, and be able to really share the resources and the tools that I know with as many people, that are interested in learning and growing. So yeah, it's powerful work. It's so mutually rewarding.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of the women are going to want to connect with you. And
That would be great.
yeah, what is the best way that they can connect with you?
Well, most directly, since this will be on Facebook, feel
Okay.
free for anybody to just, reach out to me through Facebook and connect with me. I have a personal page as well as Parent from the Heart is on there as my business page. So you can tap into that, learn a little bit more, reach out to me through, Messenger. But email is also great, and I'm happy to respond either way. So that's just my first name, Erika, Erika, at parentfromtheheart.com. And I'm pretty good about getting back to people pretty soon. So, even if it's just feedback or thoughts or, whatever they'd like to share, it doesn't have to be work related, but I'm always curious, and I would love to hear from people, what they got from this, what more they'd be interested in learning. So that's helpful to me as well.
That's awesome. I'm going to leave, Erika, all the information to connect with you in the comments so that women can find you, whether it's through Facebook or your email, that they can reach out to you, especially if they have any questions, because I know questions are going to come up. And so they'll have a way to reach out to you and follow you, because you have a lot of wisdom to impart on all of us. And I love what you're doing. And I'm so grateful that you were open to being here and sharing some of that with us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And it's been a pleasure getting to know you more personally as well. Being that we're so connected to the internet, as we were just talking about, you meet so many wonderful people, which is a definite perk. And at the same time, face-to-face conversations and hearing people's voices there's just no substitute. So I'm a big fan of that personal connection.
Yes, that's great. All right, ladies, I'm so glad that you jumped in today and listened to my conversation with Erika and were able to receive her tips and suggestions. And again, if you have any questions or want to connect with Erika, her information will be in the comments. And let us know what you think of the video and what resonated with you here. Share them in the comments below. Looking forward to hearing from all of you. Have a great day. Thanks, Erika.
Thank you. Have a great day yourself.